What's up, guys? How are you doing? Welcome to El Paso, Texas. Today, we're going to be talking about mistakes.
Yay!
In specific, mistakes we made while RVing.
And who doesn't love to relive their mistakes?
So without further ado, here are 10 stupid things we did when we first started RVing. Hey guys, my name's James.
And I'm Ashley.
And we just sold our house and we are traveling across the country with our 2 kids.
Hi, my name's Goose, and this is Maverick and Apollo. Come join us.
All right, number 1, communication while in motion. I think our first mistake, well, maybe not our first mistake, but a mistake that we've made is not knowing each other's directional cues. So,
like left and right.
See, my directional cue is there's a tree, keep going towards that. And
There's trees everywhere.
And his directional cue is go left.
Seems so simple, but like instead of saying keep
You're
going,
almost
keep
there.
going when you got a lot of space, like say 5 feet, 3 feet, counting down, or use hand gestures, that kind of thing.
See, and that type of thing, if I'm backing up, makes me nervous, where he's like, you've got 5 feet, because I'm like, well, what's 5 feet? Like,
you gotta skosh.
I can't picture that in my mind, but if someone says, keep going, you're doing good, keep going, I'm like, all right, I am doing good, I'm awesome.
So going back to our first night ever, we were backing into the campground. First time I've ever backed this giant rig up before. It's pitch black. Maverick is in the back car seat screaming her head off because she's tired and poopy probably. Goose has been in the car for hours, and so she's bored and frustrated. And it was a stressful situation because at that point, like I said, we haven't figured any of this out. So she's like, keep coming, you're almost there. Oh, watch out for that tree.
Yeah.
What friggin' tree are you talking about? It was a stressful situation. So before you run into that, know your directions and how you're gonna speak. And pro tip, use your phone or walkie-talkies. She's on speakerphone in the truck, and then she can just talk nicely into her phone instead of screaming at the top of her lungs from 50 feet away back there.
With a, engine going. And
Yeah, with a diesel truck.
it just doesn't make sense. And that way you're not disturbing the neighbors, you're not sounding like you're getting mad at each other, you're not getting mad at each other, because I hate when he's sitting back there yelling at me.
And no matter what you're saying when you're screaming it sounds angry.
And I hate that. It's just remembering and figuring things out and working together as a team.
Communication is key in so many things in life, even more so in this kind of situation.
And remember that if you are on speakerphone, your children can hear you.
Let's just say Goose might have heard some words that we might not have enjoyed her hearing as I was running over a bush with our trailer and Ashley was telling me to stop. Yeah. Okay, that was a really long number 1, so we'll try and go faster. So, all right, number 2, we're going to try and do this a lot.
Number 2 is going to be fast.
Mistake number 2 that we did as RV noobs. Double check everything.
Everything, guys. It doesn't hurt, and it takes you like 2 seconds.
A few extra seconds. I'm going to give a story here to reemphasize how important it is to double check everything.
I want you guys to know, he has not told very many people this story. It's not one that you want to tell.
This is now becoming public knowledge. So when we were up in Leavenworth, RV Christmas video, if you haven't seen it, check it out there. We first backed in the 5th wheel and so frustrated. Our power's in the back and our pooper hose is in the front, and it was reverse for the campground. So I had to get like perfectly centered so our 20-foot hose would reach the hookups and all that. So after getting it all set up, I realized I was about a foot off. So I had to reattach and pull forward. And as I did so, I reattached, but I didn't double check. So when I pulled forward, the truck moved, but the trailer didn't, and it slid off the 5th wheel and smashed into the back of the pickup truck. I am so thankful I decided to only raise up the feet about a foot, the front wheel, the front pegs.
Which honestly is not something that you normally do.
Yeah,
normally
you shouldn't do that.
He raises them up.
But because I did that, it only dropped down a foot, and it just barely hit the top of the pickup truck. Like, so if we look at our tailgate, it's got a slight dent in it. It destroyed our cooler. But if I would have brought those pegs all the way up, not only would it have destroyed the back of our pickup, it would have destroyed the 5th wheel itself. And that could have been horrible. All because I didn't double check the safety pin on the fifth wheel hitch. Ugh. I cannot emphasize double check everything enough. I wish I would have gotten footage of it, but I was so panicked that I didn't pull out, I didn't take a picture, I didn't get anything of it. In hindsight, it would have been great for you guys to learn how horrible it could be, but I was just so freaked out I didn't. Now granted, all of your mistakes aren't gonna be as massive as that one.
And we pray for you that
that you never have to experience. But some of the other stupid things that we've done by not double checking is we've left chocks behind at a campground. We have left our stove vent flap open, which thankfully somehow after driving for 2 hours on the freeway, it didn't rip off, but that could have been
like 75.
That could have been a mistake. Oh, make sure when you're opening your slides, double check that nothing is falling. One of our cabinets happened to open while moving, and it started to, luckily I felt or heard or just like got the instinct to go look, and it didn't completely rip one of our cabinet doors open, but that got the hinge got messed up on there. So little things can happen as well as devastating things. So double check everything.
Number 3, give yourself time to adjust. So
frustrating because we wanted to do this, sorry. It just brings back bad memories.
So I guess our first tip from this one would be when you're going to go full-time, make sure that you have some crossover between when you have your house and when you have your trailer. It makes it pretty difficult when you just move right in, and that's that.
We didn't even have any overlap. We like put our stuff in a U-Haul and then got it. Like it was, originally we wanted to have about 2 weeks.
And it just didn't work out that way. It was a whole lot more stressful than what it should have been, just because since we didn't have the trailer at all, we had no idea how much we could bring and what would fit, and it was stressful. Let's just go with that.
And something you have to adjust to is not everything is going to be, obviously nothing is going to be the same as when you have a house.
Yes, it won't be the same, and not everything is going to be perfect, and that's something that I have to remember. It's not all going to be perfect, but you will get there. Just give yourself time.
All right, number 4, space heaters. We talked about this in our money saving video, but we didn't learn until a month or 2 into full timing that we should buy some cheap electric space heaters. Not too cheap, but cheap electric space heaters, so that way we weren't burning through propane nonstop. Because if you're in cold weather, your heater is gonna be going nonstop, unless you're wearing sweats and a blanket and a parka inside. But we wanted to be comfortable. We had a 9-month-old baby. We needed it to be a warm temperature in the house. So we were going through so much propane. So by getting electric space heaters, when you're at RV parks, you have unlimited power for the most part. So that way and that saves you, on so much, oh my goodness. Electric space heaters or electric fireplaces. A lot of trailers actually come with those now, which we thought was totally gimmicky at the beginning, but has come in super handy. And lastly, a little disclaimer, electric space heaters can cause extra humidity to build up in the trailer.
Which is not good in trailers.
So if you are in a humid climate, definitely crack some windows or vents if you can. And we pretty much have that dehumidifier running anytime we have those electric heaters going.
Okay, so number 5, knowing your roles.
What you expect the other person or the other people in your family to do. If you have older kids that can help you out, like you all need to know what you're supposed to be doing at different times.
Yes, because here's the problem that we ran into. We got into the RV and we had our roles back when we were in our house, and we really didn't go over the expectations that we had for each other in our new lifestyle and the new roles that we expected the other one to fulfill. And
we're talking about things ever since like setting up the sewer hose, connecting the water, connecting the power, leveling out the trailer, setting up the kitchen stuff on the inside, all that stuff.
Taking out the garbage, making sure that the dog has food or water, just little things. And even for the kids, you've got to make sure that you establish that. And while we established the roles that we expected from Goose, we didn't necessarily go over the roles that we expected from each other.
So just having those set up ahead of time will help save fights, make things go smoother, and have setups and teardowns go quicker. So know your roles.
So if we can impart wisdom with you, it would be set up those roles when you first start. That way
Don't wait for the argument.
That way you can fight about other things.
Okay, number 6, take your time. This applies to everything in RVing, from setting up to tearing down to driving down the freeway to exploring where you're going. Remember, the reason you're doing this, or at least the reason we're doing this, is to make these memories traveling across the country and experiencing life. And if you're always rushing constantly as fast as you can to get from point A to point B, you're not going to enjoy it. Plus, when you're rushing to set up and tear down and not double checking things, mistakes happen. So take your time from setting up, tearing down, figuring out where you're going to go, what you're going to do, and enjoying the ride.
Number 7, help your children and your pets adapt to your new lifestyle. Making sure that you're helping your pet adapt. We thought we did that, but I don't think we listened to his cues as well as we thought we were. So we brought in blankets and his favorite pillow. We made sure that we had cookies and bones, and we're giving him love and attention. But what we didn't pay attention to is his cues to us while in motion, while we were driving.
We always knew that Apollo didn't like to be in confined spaces. Like when we would block off certain rooms, even if he didn't want to go in that room, he would barge through.
He could never go in that room, and all of a sudden he had to be in that room. So we tried putting him in the RV in his kennel, and it seemed to be okay at first, but then it
did not go well.
So then we brought him into the pickup truck, which was actually worse. He panicked and was freaking out. And as much as we were petting on him and loving him, he just didn't like riding in the pickup with us. So we figured out that he needed his space, 100% space, when he tore out of his kennel while we were in motion. I opened the door and he is standing there to greet me, just happy as a clam.
Hanging out at the front door.
So we at that point said, no more. We're gonna see what happens. We're gonna take a 20-minute drive and see how he does just standing being at the top of the landing. And
it's worked great. We've had no issues since we realized what works best with him. So it might not necessarily work best for you doing that, but figure out what works best for your pets, whether it be kennel, being in the car, or roaming free, any other options.
And just pay attention to the cues that they're giving you. And then second, kids. If you are traveling with kids, help them to adjust. Start by talking about it. That's one thing that I don't think we really did much with Goose, is that, talking about it. We talked about how we were going to be moving and we would be sad, but it was going to be a new adventure. We didn't talk about how exciting it would be to live in the RV. We talked about the adventures we would go on, but not necessarily the lifestyle that she would be leading.
And I think a lot of it is how we treated the RV. Like, for a while there, we were calling it the RV or the trailer instead of calling it home or back to the house.
Yes.
And so getting that, and it'll be different for older kids, but for Goose, who just turned 5, I think just the sheer fact of us saying, are we ready to go back home? Or treating it as a home and as a house made her feel a lot more at ease. So help your kids in any way to adjust to this huge, massive life transition. All right, number 8, on a much lighter note, don't forget the pooper tabs. I actually can't remember what they're officially called, but the little tabs or the liquid that you pour into the toilet, don't forget or don't cheap out on those. It is worth the $1 or $2 per tab to help keep your RV from smelling like crap.
We may have learned that the hard way.
We have done that on accident once, where we dumped everything and we started traveling, and then when we got to the new destination, we forgot to put the tabs in.
We thought we had, so I guess that our tip would be, you dump, pop it in.
Pop it right away. That way you don't forget.
What are they called?
Comment down below. What are those actually called?
So
RV noobs right here.
I know. We're so awesome. Number 9, organization is key. Take the stuff that you have and that you think that you will not be able to live without and cut it in half.
Like we were saying earlier, our situation didn't allow us to have that overlap, so we didn't actually get to physically move the stuff from the house to the trailer. So we had to completely guess what would fit in the trailer.
And we brought a lot.
Take your guess and then cut that guess in half. That's what we always say.
So, because we're still going, oh my gosh, we didn't need that. Ugh, we don't need this. And so if you haven't used something for a little while, you might not need it. And I'm saying that with no judgment because that is something that I am so bad at.
I don't think I've ever heard her say that before.
I know, so don't worry, I get ya. But as a part of organization as well, small baskets and bins, they are going to be your best friend. And I learned that actually the Dollar Tree, it's amazing. Normally I'm like, oh, it's $1. It's probably gonna break any moment. Well, who cares if it breaks any moment because you can get another one for $1. However, they're also very small. And that is marvelous when you're living in an RV. And don't forget the command tabs because they will save your life when it comes to hanging anything or putting anything up. They come to your rescue.
All right, number 10, you guys. This one goes down to our motto. Life is an adventure. Be adventurous, you guys. One thing that we struggle with, certain people more than others, is trying things that we've never done before. And one of the best things about traveling is you get to go to these one-off places or hole-in-the-wall places that you don't get to try anywhere else. And I would say if you're the kind of person that likes to always go to Red Robin or whatever it is, McDonald's, whatever it is that's everywhere.
He says that with no judgment.
Don't do that all the time. Be adventurous sometimes and go to these places. Use Yelp. Ask the RV person at the front desk or the locals, what is a cool place to go eat here? Or what is something fun to go and do around here?
Because we wouldn't have found that.
When we were at the Redwoods, I asked the lady at the front desk, hey, I know the Redwoods are cool, but what is there to do here? And she mentioned the Fern Canyon place. Fern Canyon was one of my favorite places we have been on this entire trip.
I think it was all of our favorite places. And what was amazing is I had hurt my ankle, but I didn't care because it was that amazing.
That and you were numb because we were walking through freezing cold water.
And Goose loved it, you guys. She kept going, I'm an explorer. It was amazing. And she was hiding dinosaur eggs. Oh my gosh. I have so many great memories from that.
I actually don't know if that video is live yet, but if it is, we'll put it right there. And that does it, you guys. There are 10 stupid mistakes we made as RV newbies. Comment down below, let us know, have you done any of these, or do you have any good mistakes to add to this list, and let our community know.
And just help us learn from you. That's what this is all about, helping each other learn so that
how not to be complete idiots.
So that we can be better.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. Remember, as always, life is an adventure. So get out there and make some memories.